So there I was, lurking in the comments section, when I came across this gem. At 33 years, if it hasn't happened, it never will. Sorry. Time to move on and accept the next chapter. Go on. I'll take the bait on this one, because I think it's an important topic. How do we define making it as a musician in 2024 in this new music industry? What exactly is it? The traditional description might be a Grammy or a stadium tour or a platinum record, i.e. 1 million albums or singles sold. If those are our criteria, then vanishingly few have truly made it. This video is sponsored by Distrokid, but more on that later. Popular music and youth culture have always gone hand in hand. There are so many examples of bright stars who produce an incredible body of work by the time they reach their mid to late 20s. The Beatles, Beyoncé, Mozart, Tupac, Kate Bush, Taylor Swift. I could go on. But not everyone has the same experience. There are plenty of groundbreaking artists who found success a little later in their life. Katie Tunstall, one of my biggest influences when I was starting out, was 29 before she gained national recognition for her performance of her song Black Horse and the Cherry Tree on Later with Jules Holland. Debbie Harry was 31 when Blondie released their first album, and then 33 when Parallel Lines came out. Sheryl Crow was also 31 when her debut album was released, and 40 when Soak Up the Sun came out. Alex Kapranos from Franz Ferdinand was 32 when their first album was released. Bill Withers was 33 when he released Ain't No Sunshine. He refused to give up his day job even when he'd had a hit, and credited his age with helping him navigate the less desirable aspects of the music industry. Leonard Cohen, widely regarded as one of the greatest singer-songwriters of all time, also released his album Songs of Leonard Cohen at the age of 33, after a stint trying to make it as a poet and novelist. Craig Finn was 35 when The Hold Steady released their breakthrough album Boys and Girls in America. Chris Stapleton was 37 when his debut, Traveller, came out. And Charles Bradley, who spent decades working as a James Brown impersonator, was 63 when his debut was released. There's plenty more where they came from. The strange fact is that we've always placed such a high value on youth in music, particularly in pop, but don't think twice about a novelist publishing their first book in their 30s or 40s, or a painter having their first exhibition in their 50s or 60s, and so on. Remember that these are crafts too that you get better at with time. I may now be beyond the tweeny bopper threshold, but I'm also a much better guitarist, singer, and songwriter than when I was 21. I also have far more life experience, I've studied my craft more, and I'm more emotionally mature. Well, my exes might disagree on that one, but I know what I want and what my priorities are. I am better equipped to deal with what life will throw at me, rather than going down a dark path, as so many young musicians do. I have a close circle of friends and family who still tell me how it is, rather than a circle of yes men telling me how wonderful I am, although sometimes I wish that was the case. And I've said before that fame is not normal. It can place a lot of stresses on young minds. And that's a part of why pop stars were traditionally signed up young. You're grateful, you're more beholden to authority, and you're probably going to put up with a lot more than any sane, well-adjusted adult would, because you're the product to them, nothing more. In my mid-20s, I almost signed an exploitative 360 deal with a management company. A 360 deal is where a label or management company provides some money up front, often a very small amount, and marketing support in exchange for a percentage of all your future earnings from every stream of income. So not just your music, but your merch, your likeness, touring money, and even supplementary activities like YouTube videos. Do not sign one of these deals. You will regret it. I even knew it was a bad deal, but I almost signed it anyway because I felt like the clock was ticking on whether I would ever succeed as a musician. I am just so grateful that I didn't. Also, that management company, they went bust. And of course, let's be real, part of me would love to play a sold-out stadium or travel on an amazing luxury tour bus or fly by private jet to Malibu to record with Rick Rubin, then shoot a music video with £1 million budget. I bet that's pretty cool. But I also know that I value my privacy, I like my anonymity, I like to go to the gym or a restaurant without screaming crowds running after me. I like my private life to be private. Many successful musicians become reclusive, locked away in their mansions until it's time to hit the road again. And it affects their material because your frame of reference narrows. your work often suffers and you cease to be relatable. I also think that once you've passed a certain threshold of material comfort, it's diminishing returns. Or so I've heard. Plenty of millionaires feel unhappy and disillusioned with their life. That gold-plated steak just doesn't bring them the same joy it used to. I've been living and working full-time for my creativity for almost 5 years now, and I still feel like I'm just getting started, that I'm getting better and have more to give. I have my freedom, I have work I enjoy and a roof over my head, and room for the occasional luxury, and I think that's just everything that I need. And if it all ends tomorrow, I can say what a ride it's been, and because I built up a wider set of skills than just a musician, I can move into other areas. I know I'll be okay, whatever the next part of my life is. And enjoying the journey is as important as the destination to wherever or whatever making it is. So here's another thing. If you can build a body of work, then you can leave it behind for others to enjoy at a later date. You never know when someone might discover a song decades after it came out and for it to be meaningful to them. Pat Benatar released a song in 1983 called Love is a Battlefield, and I hadn't even heard of her until 2022, but I discovered that song exactly when I needed it. You might pick up an old paper bag that's been out for decades and strongly identify with its characters or themes, or look at a painting by a long-dead artist and be profoundly moved. Most artists don't get to experience the full effects of what they leave behind. You might move millions of people with your work, or just a handful. And I've talked before about Kevin Kelly's rule of 1,000 true fans. All you need is 1,000 people to buy your album or travel to a show and buy a t-shirt, and you've got yourself a really great living. If you can be content to make a living, not a fortune, from your art, then you've made it. So don't let anyone tell you that there's a time limit to creativity or that success has to be counted in the millions rather than the thousands or hundreds. Do it your way and do it yourself, and take those negative comments with a big pinch of salt. Thank you so much for watching, and this video has been sponsored by Distrokid. Winter is coming. And that means an opportunity to dust off those holiday classics and entertain your friends and fans with a festive cover song. You might have a Bluegrass Last Christmas or a Metal Fairy Tale of New York. With Distrokid, it's incredibly easy to release covers as well as your own original material on all the major streaming platforms. They'll even take care of the licensing split for you, so you can focus on doing those holiday classics justice. It costs just $12 a year per song uploaded, and if you haven't signed up yet, you can use the link in my description to get 7% off your first year's membership. Thanks to Distrokid for sponsoring, and I'll be seeing you here again very, very soon.